now. Please just work with me. Work with me. Oh, I'm a little worse for wear. Okay, guys. I promised that I would do... I'm doing everything wrong here. You're never supposed to look down at a camera. I'm using my iPhone. I'm not a YouTuber, so just bear with me. I posted something a couple months ago on... Okay, I'm just not even gonna look at the screen. I'm just gonna look at the camera. Okay, I posted something about, it's been a long time. It's probably 2 months ago on Instagram and Facebook. And it was a post that said something to the effect of training through injuries and recovery and blah, blah, blah. I don't remember what I said. So probably with that mentality in mind when I was posting it, a lot of people got the wrong idea. So I want to explain what I meant by that. What I meant by that post was that, and I'm speaking from personal experience, and disclaimer, before I even offend anybody, because I'm sure I'm going to offend I'm probably going to offend a lot of people because I tend to have that effect on people. I'm not claiming to be a doctor. I'm not claiming to know everything about injuries. I'm not speaking of, I'm only speaking about my personal experience with injuries. And I'm gonna make this short and sweet because I'm literally using a yoga mat as a tripod right now because I'm not a YouTuber. And it just fell over. And it's probably gonna fall over again. So anyways, I'm gonna make this short and sweet. Speaking from my own experiences with injuries, and I've had a lot. My injuries all mostly came from soccer because I played soccer my whole life. But what I was referring to was soft tissue injuries, specifically with me. So I have a lot of people, being a personal trainer, I have a lot of people that come in, and most people, once they get to their 30s and 40s, or even in your 20s, you end up experiencing some kind of injury, whether it's work-related, whether it's sports-related, whatever. You end up somehow injuring. A lot of people injure their rotator cuffs. That's a common injury. A lot of hip injuries, a lot of knee injuries. So I want to try to encourage people to work with those injuries, to see their chiropractor, see their physiotherapist, and don't just throw in the towel because you have pain from an injury, no matter how long ago or how recent. You don't have to live with the pain. I went for physical therapy, and I ended up, well, first of all, I should back up. I ended up in a fiberglass cast for about 5 weeks, and then from that point, I was put into a walking boot, and my camera's falling over again. So anyways, I was in a walking boot, an air boot with crutches for months. I don't even remember now. I just remember it was a real pain in my butt. But during that time, it was my left ankle. So because fitness has been a lifestyle for me, I really find that it affects my whole routine, my whole daily routine. If I don't work out a certain number of times throughout the week, it affects my mood, it just affects me overall. So I worked out through my injury, through having the fiberglass cast on. And I'm not saying, if you break a leg or if you've got a broken arm or whatever, get back on that soccer field and go and play and train through it. That's not what I'm saying. I could do all kinds of upper body training. I could do all kinds of abdominal training, and that's what I did. I didn't stop my fitness routine just because I was experiencing or going through a healing process with my injury. So the best thing that I ever did with any of my injuries was to go see a physiotherapist. Because it was soft tissue, the one injury that stands out in my head, I've had lots, like I said, but the one that stands out because I deal with it every day is my Achilles tear. I tore my Achilles, and this is going back like 4 years ago. Tore my Achilles playing soccer, but I didn't tear it all the way through. My gym's a mess. I didn't tear it all the way through. It was a 9mm by 4mm tear. So, and it was torn at the point of insertion into the heel bone. So it was just kind of hanging there. I've got a text message coming in. So, I had to, see, this is what I'm talking about. I don't normally do this. So I had to go for physical therapy. I had the best physiotherapist ever. So shout out to Mark if you're watching this. Sorry, I know this is painful to watch. So having to deal with this pain every day, what I found and what I was told by my physiotherapist was that you have to keep that tissue pliable. You have to keep exercising, or because it's scar tissue, that in my situation, because I didn't have surgery on my Achilles, it wasn't severed. So basically by putting it in the cast and keeping it stabilized, during that time, what they were allowing it to do was build scar tissue around the tendon. So as you know, scar tissue is not as pliable as regular tendon tissue. So in order to keep it pliable, I have to continue to run on that heel, or on that, I have to continue to keep that leg active. I'm getting Let's try this. Okay. No? Who knew YouTubing was this hard? And I went to school for television broadcasting. Okay, so I deal with it every day. I have pain every morning I wake up. I have pain in my left, actually both my Achilles now, because one compensated for the other throughout the years. So because one is weak now, the other one compensates for that one. So I have pain in both Achilles, but there's a way of relieving that pain. And do you know what that is? It's working out. If I don't run or do some kind of plyometrics during the week, I end up not being able, I end up with no mobility in my ankles whatsoever. I don't trust this. It's gonna fall over. Oh, it's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Get this one. And I'm gonna put it behind. And then, whew, brilliant. Okay, so where was I? I kept training through my injury. I wasn't training my ankle, obviously, because it was in a cast, because it was injured and it was a torn Achilles. And if anyone else out there who's had a torn Achilles, you feel my pain. It was a bad injury. I've broken bones before, and tearing my Achilles was the most painful injury I've ever had. And going back a bit, I mentioned that I deal with this every day. Like I said, this was 4 or 5 years ago now that I actually tore my Achilles. I deal with it every day. Ah! All right, I've actually had enough of this shite. So, I should mention that I was also keeper. So I was keeper for about 20 years. That was the position that I played. So a lot of jumping. I also found out from my physiotherapist that I walk supinated. So my feet are walking, I walk on the outsides of my feet, which makes my tendons, my Achilles, and my calf muscles, it makes everything more rigid. So I was destined to have Achilles injuries. But like I said, if I don't keep active, if I don't keep some kind of jumping, not just weight training and resistance training and stuff like that, I actually have to run. I have to go for a run. Mind you, I usually run on the treadmill. I don't do a lot of terrain running, just because my ankles are more susceptible to injury because they are rigid now. But if I don't go for a run once or twice a week, I end up really, really stiff, and it ends up really, really painful, especially, like I said, when I wake up in the morning. So the whole point of this video is to basically encourage everybody, you know, when you're experiencing an injury, if you're experiencing pain, and it's got to be that sharp kind of pain, you know, everybody knows that kind of muscle lactic acid pain where it's, you know, that you've trained hard and you've got like that rubbery feeling. Everybody knows that, and that's normal, and that's actually good. You need that type of muscle soreness in order to build muscle. And what it actually is microfibrous tears in your muscle, which are making the muscle bigger and they're making it stronger, and you need that. If you don't have any kind of soreness after your workouts, you're not getting muscle. And the whole reason, I'm not talking about bodybuilding, I'm not talking about bulking up or any of that. I'm not actually into that. I'm into functional anatomy. I'm into making everything functional and mobile. Is my whole thought behind my personal training, the whole reason why I do it. So you want to build muscle because a combination of muscle training and cardio training is going to help you lose weight. The more muscle you have, the higher your metabolism revs at, so the higher your metabolism will be. And you don't ever want to just do weight training and resistance training. You need cardio health. You need to keep your heart healthy, and you need to have just stamina is good. It's all good. Just to rule anything out, go see your chiropractor, go see your physiotherapist. If you go see your doctor, if your doctor is physiotherapist and chiropractic friendly, he's probably going to send you to one. If you've got benefits, they're going to cover a lot of that. It's so good. And like I said, I had such a good experience with my personal therapist, or with my physiotherapist, that I haven't been to him in a while, but it's just because I'm so busy and I can't get there. But I need to get there. if you're training, if you're training at least 5 times a week and you're doing, weight training and resistance training and plyometric training and all that stuff, you really should see your physiotherapist or your chiropractor at least once every 2 weeks, just for maintenance. Just, it's just really, really good. So anyways, that was the whole reason. That's all I meant. I didn't mean to go out for a run with a broken leg. I didn't mean to, go play volleyball with a broken wrist. I just meant that maybe if you have a broken wrist, you can train legs. You can keep up with your physical training. You can keep up with your whole your whole fitness and wellness routine, and you don't have to stop altogether. And my second point was that you don't have to live with the pain. If you do have some kind of soft tissue injury, I'm not talking about anybody who's had pins put in their bones or anything like that, I'm talking about my personal experience with soft tissue injury. For me, if I don't keep that tissue pliable, if I don't continue to run on it each week, I end up immobile. I end up with a lot of pain, a lot of stiffness, and a lot of uncomfortableness, and a lot of just grumpiness. So nobody wants that. So like I said, this video is basically for people that I know. I don't expect anybody to comment below like regular YouTube. So if you have any questions, ask me next time you see me, or you can email me at bodytuner360@gmail.com. But I mean, it's self-explanatory. I just wanted to explain what I meant by that post. So until my next vlog, which I think the last one that I posted, I've never talked to the camera like this before. I'll probably do another video within the next month, who knows, whenever the urge hits me. I'll see you then. Bye.